Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a shocking courtroom showdown that Sister Wives fans will be talking about for years, the balance of power in the Brown family finally shifted as Robyn Brown was forced to surrender her long-contested control over Coyote Pass, and Kody Brown, once the dominant, unrelenting patriarch, stunned everyone in attendance by publicly apologizing in front of a judge, humbling himself for the first time in his very public downfall. What unfolded was more than just a legal victory for Janelle and Meri. It was a moment of long overdue justice, validation, and the beginning of a new era, where the forgotten, the discarded, and the betrayed finally reclaimed what was rightfully theirs. After years of gaslighting, manipulation, broken promises, and financial secrecy, the courtroom became the setting where Robyn's illusion of martyrdom crumbled and Kody's ego was dragged into the light, exposed and legally dismantled. For years, fans have watched in disbelief as Robyn, under the guise of loyalty and family values, slowly consolidated control over the family's assets, conveniently becoming the only wife with a legal marriage, a new house in her name, and constant access to Kody's attention and resources. Meanwhile, Janelle lived in an RV, Meri was emotionally cast aside, and Coyote Pass, the symbolic dream property that was supposed to unite the Browns, became a battleground where lines were drawn, hearts were broken, and trust was destroyed. But now, thanks to a courageous legal push by Janelle and Meri, all of that has finally come to a head. The courtroom was tense, filled with reporters, emotional gasps, and whispered shock as documents were read aloud, timelines reviewed, and patterns of financial favoritism laid bare. According to legal filings revealed during the hearing, Janelle and Meri were able to present documented evidence showing that their names were intentionally removed or sidelined in decisions regarding Coyote Pass, despite promises made on camera and off by Kody himself. One email from 2020, entered into evidence, shows Kody acknowledging that Janelle had contributed at least $80,000 toward the land, while another private message, shockingly retrieved from Robyn's own tablet during discovery, allegedly contains a message from Robyn to Kody warning him not to give Meri her share because she'll just sell it to spite us. That one line cracked the courtroom open. Murmurs filled the gallery. Robyn's expression was frozen in horror as the judge took note of the manipulative tone. It was the beginning of the end. When it came time for Robyn to testify, she seemed utterly defeated. Gone were the carefully controlled tears and emotionally calculated pauses fans had grown used to on camera. Instead, Robyn looked visibly shaken, cornered by a paper trail that contradicted everything she'd claimed in public. With no legal wiggle room left and the pressure mounting, Robyn shocked the court by agreeing to surrender any claims to Janelle and Meri's portions of the property. In a voice so low it was barely audible, she stated, "I no longer contest their claims. They deserve their land back." That moment, short, quiet, and anticlimactic on the surface, was a nuclear-level surrender for the woman who built her entire identity around being the last loyal wife. It was as though she finally realized the narrative was no longer hers to control. But the real emotional earthquake came next, when Kody Brown took the stand. Gone was the defiant man who once barked at his wives for being ungrateful, who accused them of disloyalty, and who sat in tell-alls defending his behavior while dismissing the pain of the very women who built his empire. Instead, the man who addressed the court, and by extension, the entire Sister Wives fandom, was a shell of the Kody the world once knew. His voice cracked as he delivered a statement that felt like a long-overdue confession. "I let my pride get in the way of fairness," Kody said, eyes flicking toward Meri and Janelle, who sat stone-faced but visibly shaken. "I failed to treat everyone equally, and for that I am sorry. I know I hurt you both. I know I made promises and broke them, and I know that for years I allowed things to go on that I shouldn't have." The courtroom was silent. Even Robyn looked stunned. The judge, noting the extraordinary emotional weight of the case, ruled in favor of granting Janelle and Meri full ownership of the plots they were originally promised, along with backdated interest on money invested, and a separate clause preventing Kody or Robyn from interfering in any future sale or development of those parcels. It was an unprecedented ruling, not just because of what was awarded, but because of what it symbolized. It was more than just land. It was recognition. It was proof that everything Janelle and Meri endured was real, and that their voices mattered. When the ruling was read, Janelle wept silently, clutching the folder of documents she had fought for over so many years. Meri, ever the stoic, simply nodded, her jaw tight, her eyes brimming with restrained triumph. Later, outside the courthouse, Janelle gave a brief statement to reporters. "I didn't want a war. I wanted justice. I wanted what was promised. I'm grateful to finally be heard." Meri added, "This isn't revenge, this is recovery." The media frenzy that followed was immediate. Headlines screamed, "Robyn's House of Cards collapses," and Kody Brown forced to apologize in court. Fans flooded social media with emotional posts, many calling it the greatest Sister Wives twist of all time. Reddit threads exploded with speculation. Would TLC now be forced to show the court battle in season 20? Would Robyn return to camera after this humiliation? Would Kody walk away from the show altogether? The aftermath, already playing out in real time, promises to reshape the franchise in ways no one could have predicted. In the days following the ruling, insiders say Robyn has retreated from public life, refusing to film, declining interviews, and allegedly spiraling under the pressure. Kody, meanwhile, is said to be reconsidering his participation in future episodes, with one source claiming he's finally realizing what he's lost, not just the wives, but the respect. For Meri and Janelle, however, the future looks brighter than ever. With their deeds in hand, both women are reportedly exploring independent real estate development opportunities, and in a poetic full-circle moment, they've even discussed the possibility of collaborating on a business together on the Kody Pass land. For longtime viewers who watched the rise and fall of the Brown family play out across nearly 2 decades, this courtroom victory feels like justice not just for Janelle and Meri, but for every woman who was ever gaslit, marginalized, or made to feel small under the guise of keeping the family together. It proves that even after years of emotional turmoil, truth rises, strength endures, and dignity can be reclaimed, one legal document at a time. And though Kody and Robyn may still have a mansion and a marriage, they no longer have control. That power now lies in the hands of the women who were once cast aside, and finally, it's their turn to write the next chapter. As the legal drama surrounding Kody Pass continues to reverberate far beyond the courtroom, the larger symbolic meaning of what just happened has finally hit home for the Sister Wives universe, and for Kody Brown and Robyn, it's nothing short of a public dismantling of everything they tried to preserve behind a web of carefully curated family values and television-friendly soundbites. The courtroom decision didn't just redistribute land, it redistributed power, and for the first time in over a decade, the original Sister Wives who were cast into emotional limbo for not submitting to Kody and Robyn's increasingly insular dynamic now hold not just their own voices, but the legal proof that they were mistreated, manipulated, and misled. And it's Robyn's worst nightmare. Legal receipts that validate what Christine, Janelle, and Meri have been saying for years. With the release of the court's judgment, signed, sealed, and recorded with the county, the myth of Robyn as the loyal wife who held the family together has officially collapsed under the weight of recorded deposits, property filings, and, yes, even her own text messages. And while the judge's final words were professional and clinical, they echoed louder than any tell-all monologue Robyn ever delivered. Equity has not been preserved within this family structure. The court therefore awards legal balance where emotional imbalance previously existed. That sentence, delivered with the cold impartiality of justice, hit like a bomb across the fandom. Fans flooded Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit with reactions, with one viral comment reading, "Robyn cried for 10 seasons about being treated unfairly, and now she just lost the very land she used to control everyone else." It was, as one blogger put it, a reckoning, not a reunion. What made the hearing even more dramatic was the presence of outside witnesses, including Christine Brown, who, though no longer legally tied to the property, was allowed to attend and quietly support Janelle and Meri. Cameras weren't allowed in the courtroom, but eyewitnesses say Christine smiled throughout the proceedings, whispering support to Janelle during key moments and giving Meri a subtle nod of solidarity as the judge read the final ruling. "They don't need to be best friends," one source close to production said. "But there's this unspoken bond now. They all survived the same storm." And that storm, as it turns out, wasn't just Kody. It was Robyn's influence, unchecked and unchallenged, for far too long. Behind the scenes, Robyn is reportedly reeling and inconsolable, accusing producers of encouraging the case to go public and allegedly considering pulling out of filming for season 20 altogether. TLC, however, is reportedly refusing to cancel the upcoming season, especially with this courtroom arc being the most compelling and real storyline the series has had in years. This is the story now, a network insider revealed. The dream fell apart, the control slipped, and Robyn isn't the sympathetic figure anymore. Viewers want the truth, and for once, they're getting it in real time. The fallout also has fans demanding that Robyn disclose how much of the family's TLC salary she's received over the years, especially now that the property division proves financial injustice was more than just emotional paranoia. As for Kody, his apology may have softened the courtroom blow, but it did nothing to restore the respect he lost over the last few years. Insiders say he is shaken but resigned, realizing too late that his choices led him here, that dismissing the needs and voices of Janelle, Meri, and Christine to preserve a fairy tale dynamic with Robyn has left him spiritually and emotionally bankrupt. "He looked like a man who realized the kingdom he built was made of sand," said one eyewitness. "There was no anger in him, just regret." Some say Kody approached Janelle after the hearing with tears in his eyes, offering another private apology and saying, "I should have listened sooner." But by then, the paperwork was signed. The apologies couldn't buy back what had already been lost. And what exactly was lost for Robyn? Beyond the land itself, which she once referred to as the last hope for the family, she's lost her moral high ground, her carefully cultivated image, and the support of fans who once believed she was merely caught in the middle. With her own text messages and financial maneuvering now public, Robyn is being labeled the architect of the family's undoing, not the peacemaker she always claimed to be. "This is the woman who sobbed over gift exchanges and plural marriage dreams," wrote one furious fan. Meanwhile, she was hoarding land and icing out the other wives. The most powerful element of this fallout is the possibility of what's next. With Janelle and Meri officially owning their own slices of Coyote Pass, both women are now in a position to rebuild, literally and figuratively. Insiders claim Janelle is working with a Flagstaff-based homebuilder to create a community wellness retreat on her portion of the land, with yoga spaces, detox cabins, and a small homestead garden. Meri, meanwhile, is said to be exploring the idea of creating a women's empowerment center or even a boutique-style bed and breakfast experience on her side. "They're turning the ashes of this drama into something healing," one insider said. "It's poetic justice." But even more poetic? The idea that Robyn may now be forced to sell her Flagstaff mansion just to cover legal fees and back property reimbursements. One court document hinted that if Robyn doesn't comply with the court's financial adjustments within 90 days, a lien could be placed on her home. Fans who remember Robyn's infamous meltdown about not wanting to rent again are now watching with popcorn in hand, waiting to see if she'll be forced to downsize while the women she tried to edge out start over with more land and more freedom than she ever expected. If there was ever a time where the Sister Wives storyline shifted from sorrow to satisfaction, it's now. With legal justice served, emotional closure unfolding, and power returned to the very women who once begged to be heard, the saga of Coyote Pass has finally reached its most stunning twist yet. And while Kody and Robyn scramble to recover their public image, Janelle and Meri are planting roots, not just on their land, but in a life where they finally answer to no one.